We're recording, but I can clip this out. So whenever we're ready, we're ready.
Just get it out of my system now?
Yeah, get it out of your system now. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Good morning, my beautiful cupcakes. Today is episode 4 of our Anticupcakeizm podcast. Today I have Sammy's dad here with me. You know, I'm going to be real honest with you, and I wanted to actually say this on camera. I don't know your actual name. You're just Sammy's dad.
Episode 4, and he doesn't know my name. So today's guest is SD.
Yeah, it's just Sammy's dad. Yeah, that's all we got.
My name's Brian.
Brian. Actually, I think I did know that. I just couldn't remember there for a minute. Real quick, I do want to say I am finally... not necessarily sponsored, but I am an ambassador of Mad Rabbit Tattoo products. I have a promo code for you guys that is all caps Relentless20. That'll get you 20% off of all Mad Rabbit products, numbing cream, stick bombs. They got soothing gels, professional stuff. So anything you guys could ever need, 20% off, Relentless20. Go pick that up. It's freaking awesome products. I just used the numbing cream the other day on one of my TikToks. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. What's up, man? Josh from last episode.
He knows Josh's name.
Dang, you didn't call me out like that. Okay.
Episode 4.
Episode 4.
By the way, I don't know your name.
I specifically wanted to say that in the podcast.
That's good, though. I like that.
So
it's good theater.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, gotta make it comical. You know. All right, so you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Okay.
You know I'm going to anyway.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
How old are you?
54.
54. Okay, that's a long time to be on this rock. Yeah. 54 years of just doing stuff. So that is, what have you been into, like, throughout? You know, it sounds like you've had a pretty interesting life. So, like, just without going too deep into everything, what would be, like, a quick summary of some of the things that you've got?
I would probably compare it to Forrest Gump. I would probably say that I've done a lot, been through a lot, survived a lot, and just basically, been here, been there, it's hard to go back. My wife tells me that they could write a book.
Yeah.
And I pretty much could write a book, man.
Yeah.
It's that many trips around the sun, man, and I'm still kicking. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Everything from cancer to lymphedema to being shot, stabbed, being in the wrong place at the wrong time, I guess you could say. Has been it's been fun, man. It's been an ordeal, but if I went back, there isn't anything I changed, man. Happy to be where I'm at. Maybe not medically, but everything else, man. My family, the group of people I have around me, the good vibes I keep around me. I wouldn't want to change it for anything, man. And like I tell my doctor, I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time.
Right. Yeah.
So each day is so I don't have another one tomorrow. So
I only get one body. I'm wearing it out.
That's it.
Yeah. You mentioned cancer. Are you still dealing with all that, or?
It's hit or miss, man. I get tested every 3 months to make sure that it hasn't come back. Basically, then the lymphedema is there's no cure. So that's fighting the melanoma in my legs, which is a constant battle. It's eating my legs all the way up to my knees when it started out at the bottom of my shins. So it could progress real bad in 1 year, or it could slow off and then progress. We don't know. There's only one man who has the answers, and he ain't talking to me right now. So, so I'm kind of just, it's all a mindset to me. Everything you do in life is a mindset. If you stay positive, I believe that you keep the wheels going in the right direction and you keep the right attitude. Nothing can bring you down. But if you sit back and you mope and you make life as trivial as you possibly can, it just becomes a mindset, and then you end up losing either way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
I feel like all of life is just a lot of yin yang. If you don't know the actual definition of the yin yang, is you can't see the light without the darkness.
Bingo.
Yeah, and I think that And like you said, it's a mindset. You have to train your mind in order to see the light through the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have to. You kind of highlight your own highs instead of focusing on the lows. If that makes sense.
Well, pretty much to quote the great Maximus from Gladiator, everything you do in the present life will be unfolded in the future life and the afterlife.
Absolutely.
So I kind of, try to keep, balance with everything I got going on. It's not easy, man. I mean, this was severe enough to put me on disability. So that took a big toll on me because when they take away your work, which is basically, to me as a man, your manhood and your purpose for being around, now you got to sit back and find something to occupy that part of your life. Whereas, my hobbies and, my pastimes were video games, music, stuff like that. Now all of a sudden that becomes the forefront because what else do you have?
Yeah,
So it's been hard. It's been tough. People need to help you. My wife has to wrap my legs. She has to address my wounds. When my skin splits open, she's got to be there to do that. So having others depend on, or you have to depend on others other than, my kids and my wife and them depended on me. It takes its toll, man. It really does. It makes you sit back and feel like you got kicked in the chest, and you got to kind of turn everything around. And I've been called everything from a grumpy old man now to, not wanting to get up and do anything. But the more I'm processing it, the more I'm coming out of that slump, and, I'm coming out more. Being here has been an absolute blessing to me because when I walk through the doors, I get smiles, I give smiles, I leave with a smile. Okay? Not only just coming in to see my daughter, but coming into 5 different personalities when this place is full, and everybody having their own, I don't know, their own opinions, their own snide remarks, their own jokes. I mean, you're getting a whirlwind of nothing but hostility. I mean, hospitality. I didn't mean to say hostility. Hospitality.
We're beating people
going
up
to edit
here.
that, okay? Because that came out wrong. But hospitality.
I mean, we are stabbing people.
Well, you got 5 different personalities in here that seem to mesh.
Yeah.
You work with 4 women. I don't know how you do it because I had 5 women at home, okay, not including my wife. I had 6 around me. And it was me and my son, and we were outnumbered. And, for you to be able to deal with the drama, and there always is, because you rub elbows with people you spend more time with than you spend time with at home. But they all seem to get over the hump. They all, seem that they might be mad at each other for a day or two, but then all of a sudden, they peel the exterior off and they get down to the fact that, hey, man, we're still part of a family here. And you can feel that when you walked in. When I walked in for the first time, I was a little nervous because it's my daughter. She's new to this industry. I'm not. I've been, around tattoo shops all my life. With her, it was me kind of worried about what is she into? What are you like? I never met you, and she's doing an apprenticeship with you. And I walked in, and I wasn't in here a half hour, and I already felt comfortable. Right. I already felt at ease, and I already felt, Tip, our son, can you call him?
That's what we try. It's what I strive personally to really, really accomplish.
Mom's going to call you.
Is I really want this to be like a family atmosphere, not only for my crew, but also for the clientele that come in here and stay here and make a little bit of a home here. So we really try to bring that atmosphere into it and bring just an all general vibe. I do think that I got lucky, or maybe blessed. Maybe blessed is a better word.
Women? I think you got lucky.
Maybe.
I think you got lucky.
I honestly think I'm pretty blessed with good people. Not artists aside from it. I think I got really blessed because I've been through some bad ones. I've been through some bad ones that were just terrible people at their core that just wanted nothing but evil inside of them. Whereas I think the people I have here, these are good hearts. They're pure. They don't want no animosity with anybody. Like you kind of mentioned, with there being as many females as there is in here, it does get kind of dramatic. I'm not saying that against females. I feel like if it was all males, it would be probably more dramatic.
It's like a family game of Monopoly.
Yeah. But it does get a little dramatic sometimes, but we always end up getting through it. We always end up figuring that out. And it's all love at the end of the day, because we genuinely want the best for each other. I genuinely want my whole crew to make a bunch of money and be super successful and go on and be crazy tattoo artists.
Well, a great leader doesn't make great followers. A great leader makes great leaders.
Well, thanks,
so
man.
at some point in time, they're going to be able to be at your level.
Right.
And sooner or later, some may be better at something, some may be better at something. And then that's where you come in. And I've noticed that in times where I'm getting tattooed with color changes and, and I ask for your opinion when, and she'll ask and say, well, let me ask Austin. And that's where they can put their trust in you to say, hey, come here,
right.
I got a question. And that builds character with them in the communication and the relationship between you and them.
Right.
And that's when you get, I don't want to be somebody who's only looking out for myself.
I don't know.
I mean, I've been in here many times where you've handed walk-offs to the girls.
Absolutely.
Okay, which means you're putting money in their pocket. And a lot of shop owners won't do that. If they're sitting there and they're not doing anything, the first thing they're going to do is take money from them and still continue to collect the money from them. So, I mean, that showed, like I said, it showed me a lot. One of the bigger points in here, and it's just a little story. A gentleman came in a couple weeks ago to get his first tattoo. And you could tell right off the bat that he was so wound up. If he'd have farted, he would have exploded. He was wound up. It was a shoulder piece, and myself and Josh were here, and
that was right after the podcast.
It was. Yeah, it
right
was.
after the podcast.
So Sam sat him down. Not Sammy. Sam sat him down in a chair.
Or Tay. We call her Tay.
Tay. Okay.
Yeah.
She got him set up and ready to go, and I was getting tattooed in a couple chairs down from him, and I seen the look in his eyes. So I kidding around. I started going, and he looked up, and he had the Bart Simpson eyes. And everybody was like, don't pay attention to him. But I broke the monotony for him. I broke the idea of pain when I started laughing. And he's like, you're only playing? I'm like, yeah. It doesn't hurt. You didn't come in here to get, painted on. You came here to get a needle that's going to put art on you. So you have to expect a little bit of discomfort. And he's like, if you could compare it to anything, what would you compare it to? I said, a bee sting. And so if you get a bee sting and that stinger's staying in you and nobody can get it out, after a minute, it's not what it was when you originally got hit with it. And he's like, wow, okay. And then sure enough, he told me afterwards, he was like, you were right. But everybody in here made him feel comfortable. You saying, hey, bro, if you feel like you're going to pass out, let me know. I want to make sure I grab you. Yeah. And he felt that you could just tell that his whole demeanor changed from the time he walked in, signed the paperwork, and then sat down, and he was going, and he was tightening up. And once everybody started talking to him, and including the other artists that went up to him and said, hey,
Eventually, he became quite the chatterbox.
Oh yeah. He was. Yeah. Then he was calling people for money, and he didn't care at that point in time. And I even told him, I said, man, hope you liked it because welcome to your new addiction.
Absolutely.
Because if there's any addiction in the world that's going to cost you money, this is it.
And I think that he's actually got a hold of Tay already.
For another one? Yeah. And what was crazy is my son's a big Naruto fan. Naruto. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
You got it right.
But he got a piece from one of the characters. He got the symbol from on his back. And I said, that's way cool. And then Tate, she put it up on Facebook and tagged everybody. And I showed my son. And my son's like, but I like this guy and I'd rather get hit. So my son's only 14 and he's already looking for his first one at 17, So it's, man, like I said, if you keep the good vibe, man, and you feed off the good vibe, then you can't be brought down. Now, ain't nothing going to bring you down, man. You just stay the course, man. Do everything that's expected of you in life, man. And even some of those things that are unexpected. And you just keep the positive. You keep everything around you so positive that nobody can break your chain.
And that's where we're at.
And you are. I mean, I'm looking. I'm like, it's like you come in, and I'll come in here and just sit down and not even have to get a tattoo. I just come in and hang out. You know what I mean? Just to get that good vibe, and then I'll leave. I'll drive 45 minutes to come get a good vibe. Right. If I'm, in a situation where it's not a good vibe, man, I'll say, well, hey, let's go take a ride down and see Sam at work. And it's awesome, man. This place is like, and it's not just because my daughter works here. It's not that at all. Like I said, I've been in many tattoo shops, and a lot of the tattoo artists keep to themselves. They don't want to be bothered with anything. I mean, I've even watched tattoo artists not even talk to their client. man, how am I going to trust you with what you're putting on my body permanently? And you can't even talk to me, you know? And it's just
or you like walk into the tattoo shops and they're all in their own little rooms, you know? I can't stand that. When I was looking for a shop, I was like, I'm not doing that. It's going to be an open concept. I want to be able to, so that we can all talk.
You don't want your front desk person saying fourth cubby on the right.
No. Like,
I want to see what's going on. I like seeing what other work, you know, others do. Like Josh. I mean, Josh he's gotten hammered by everybody in here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. You can't say that. And not one person is going to get jealous of the other person because he's getting tattooed by that. I mean, that is when you know that you have a close-knit thing and you got a moneymaker, man. And that's all you can do. I mean, you got to come down to see my daughter. She needs new pants. She's barely wearing a pair now. They got so many holes in them.
You got to come show the camera your pants. I think they look
Please support her wardrobe, okay? She's going to be out in a meter strip between Walmart's In and Out. You got any spare change?
She's looking a little homeless.
Sorry, Sammy.
Oh, goodness. She said her bottom like this.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
So now the only thing that has holes in it are your wallet because you probably paid a ridiculous price.
Those are your church pants, aren't they?
And you drop something on the floor that's unsanitary.
Yeah. That brings me to my next question, actually. What? Come on now. This is a tattoo shop. Don't be a cupcake. This is Anticupcakeizm. Come on now. That brings me to my next question. It's got to be pretty cool having a daughter as a tattoo artist, right?
Yes and no.
No.
I thought it would be a win-win.
Okay. This is a good question. I'm super curious.
Okay. Here's the first win. Okay. And my daughter, Sammy, will be the one who she will deny this, but I felt like I helped push her into this line of work because Sammy, as great as an artist as she was afraid to put her art out there.
Okay. We usually are.
Okay, and that's and usually it becomes a, well, I don't know, and I don't know about that piece. No, you need to go and talk to these people. You got every time that she said that she tried to contact you and you didn't, we'll contact them again. Because you got to prove to somebody that you want something. And if you prove it enough, one or two things are going to happen. You're either going to irritate that person to say, get the hell in here so she stops calling me, okay, see what she's got, or you're going to recognize the fact that she really wants this, okay? So I kind of pushed her, you know, in that direction, but she's always had a gift of art. When she focused on it and she set her mind to it, she could accomplish anything when it came to art. So the win is, yes, I get tattooed, okay? The downside is they're not free, okay? So all you people out there that have family that are tattoo artists in an actual shop and you expect to walk in there and get a free tattoo, shame on you.
Yeah,
because between me and my wife, as many tattoos, and my other daughter have gotten tattoos, I'm not going to come in here and take money and time away from my daughter. This is her business. This is her livelihood.
Right.
Why would I want to do that? Right. I don't come in here and expect to not pay for a tattoo, no matter who I'm in front of, no matter what I'm doing. And I think it's just wrong.
It would be counterproductive for you to not pay her anyways, because then she would just be asking you for a car payment
Been there, done that.
So,
but she's always been productive with that.
But that is a very, very good point. When you have anyone that's in the service industry or anyone that's doing a service for you, even if they're related or not, pay them what they're asking for, pay them what they're worth, pay them more than what they're worth, and then tell the world about them, because that's what's really going to help them. Don't try to get a discount out of them. If they give you a discount for whatever reason, I have given discounts to family members for Christmas or their birthday or something like that. You know, if they give you a discount, be genuinely grateful for that. But do not expect it.
No.
Do not expect it. That is
it's up to the artist as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Whatever the artist wants to do, because sometimes it takes an artist, especially in the tattoo industry, to get to a point where they know their worth.
Right.
When she first started doing this, she was telling me, this appointment didn't show up, this appointment. I said, well, you get to keep the deposit. And she's like, I didn't take a deposit. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
Unfortunately, so many people will say that they want this, they want to get this, and they're going to be in at this time. I'm sorry. You can't go book a venue for a wedding, a birthday party, anything like that without a deposit. So what's the difference between a tattoo artist's time and a venue? There is nothing. I'm sorry, but if you put 50% down on a tattoo, that makes you 100% more likely to be at that appointment and not waste the time, especially if a tattoo artist has to take the time to draw it out, stencil it,
Right.
okay, get it printed, and get everything ready for when you're supposed to walk in that door at noon, and then you call at 11:30 and you say, I can't make it in. So my idea is, all right, you get one reschedule on the deposit. We're not going to do this again. And the second time you don't show, adios. You don't get your deposit back. Don't ask for it. This is a business. This isn't like you come in here and this is a cult.
Normally, how I tend to run it, and I don't have a set policy for everybody. They're kind of allowed to do whatever they want with it. But how I end up running it is, I don't like punishing everybody for the bad apples, if that makes sense.
Sure, I understand that.
I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt at the first one, and then after they fuck me over, then they're paying a reschedule fee, or they're not coming back. That's usually how I do that.
Yeah, I mean that's the way to do it too.
But if there's if it's like a big tattoo, like a $400 or $500 or anything above that, then I'd be like, can we put $50 down? You know, it takes it out of what you got to pay me.
Well, if you're setting a time for a 4 or 5 hour tattoo on a Friday, and this guy doesn't show up or this gal doesn't show up, your time's wasted. Yeah, you sat here and you waited. And now you can't. You hope that somebody walks in. You don't know that.
You might. Sometimes I can message some people and salvage the day. At this point in my career, I have a lot of people like that.
They don't. They don't. Yeah, they don't. And that's why I told her that when you're starting off, in order to make sure that somebody's going to show up for that appointment, that deposit, it doesn't have to be a large deposit, because you're only going to wait an hour before you write them off anyway. So if you ask for a $25 deposit, $25 for that hour you sat there, your time is paid for. You know, and materials and stuff like that, because you can't open a needle and then throw it back in and say, I'm going to use this next. No, you can't. There's a lot of things that go hand in hand with this, and a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes. All they see is when they walk in, what's in front of them.
Right.
You know, and when a shop has a minimum, for instance, oh man, you mean to tell why is that? I'm only getting a tattoo this big. Okay, well that tattoo this big means that they just spent this much money on setup, on equipment.
Not just that, you're also paying for a fraction of this chair, a fraction of this toolbox, for a fraction of my machine, for a fraction of that light, for a fraction of the rent on this shop, for a fraction of the utilities. You're paying for all of that stuff. Like that money has to come from somewhere, and it comes from the tattoos. You know, this is a business. We have to make money. The business has to be profitable. In order for me to reinvest into more stuff, I need more couches. I need more chairs. I need more yada yada yada. So I want bigger TVs and such. So, you know, we need money and stuff like that, and
we need cable.
Yeah, well, you know, we do.
Well, I want to come in on a Sunday and watch the game. I want to be able to get tattooed and watch.
We can watch the game.
Oh, you can? You got stream up there?
For not turning it on.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, it's all attached to my laptop here. I can play Netflix and anything you want.
Yeah, but they can watch Twilight in here.
Yeah, she watches Twilight. Yeah. But yeah, we can get the game. I just have to figure out what streaming service the game is on, which is usually...
It's usually on Hulu or NBC or Peacock, ABC.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that later. Football season's a little bit out yet.
I'm ready for some football season.
Oh, am I too. Especially because my Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, born and raised Philadelphia.
All right. We're going to take the opportunity to embarrass Sammy a little bit. What was Sammy?
All right, yeah. this is what I was waiting for.
What was Sammy like as a little Sammy?
Little Sammy.
Was she still the dark one? Was she a dark little Sammy?
Sam, how far am I allowed to go with this? I mean,
we need some baby pictures.
Oh, okay. There was that one incident where she took a permanent Sharpie, and this is where her artistic abilities came in. I said artistic. I said,
Not to be confused with autistic.
It looked like a map. That too. It looked like a map of Australia on our refrigerator, which happened to be white. It was crazy because I didn't see it, and I was the one watching them. So the wife is to blame. She shouldn't have left me at home with the kids. That we all need parental guidance.
I need an adult to your adult.
So the wife came home and she said, "What's this on the refrigerator?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. What is it?" I went in and it would look like a map of Australia. It literally did. And Sam at that point said she was going to be an artist too. She looked at me and she said, "I got to do my art somewhere, and you guys aren't giving me an outlet." So I chalked it up to we got to buy a new refrigerator, but she got her art expression out, and then my wife got her expression out on me not watching him closely with a Sharpie at age 2. And it was...
It's not always dark though. I was very fearless, hot,
who was he asking?
I did.
I don't remember inviting you into this conversation.
Yeah,
so.
you're not even in front of the camera.
Yeah. Huh.
Get back to work.
Yeah. But as far as it's, she was always she wasn't dark. I mean, I really don't have too many stories I can tell about her. She
I genuinely don't feel like she's dark now. I think she wears dark clothing, but I don't think she's a dark individual.
No, she's not. She's
she's very bubbly.
Oh yeah, she's like Lawrence Welk, full of bubbles.
Yeah.
Okay, she is. She puts the bubble in bubble gum, and I would say that she was more of a. She didn't test the waters type of child either. She doesn't like confrontation too much.
Yeah.
Growing up, that is. I mean, now it's a different story. Now she just likes to fight dudes. I think it's more of a.
What?
I really never had any until she turned 17, and that's when shit just started to spiral. She was definitely a wannabe rebel. She was definitely
a rebel?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was to the point where she was running around the house just pissing on the furniture, and we had to rub her nose in it. But at least we got to get rid of the plastic sheet she had on her bed from bedwetting. A lot of this came from, I don't know, she was having chronic nightmares about midgets chasing her with pitchforks. And
me too.
So, yeah,
I still have nightmares about that. Honestly.
Yeah, she, but I can't say anything bad. I mean, she's a great kid. I'm really proud of her. I mean, I have a proud dad moment all the time when she posts stuff up and how proud she is of doing her art on people's skin. It's just crazy. I mean, she gets that like weird aspect from her mother. The perfectionist. She has to be perfect, and she's probably her biggest critic, which I tell her, don't worry about it. If you don't support yourself, we're here to support you.
We always are.
And she has a great group around her, and she'll get on the phone and she'll bitch and complain sometimes about this and that, but then a day later everything's smoothed over, and she's back to being her bubbly self. Farts in a tub to play with the bubbles and stuff. She did that as a child too. I mean, it was
again, I still do that. I don't know.
No, I tried that once and it didn't work out well. I ended up with a brown shark in my hands.
That's not a crayon.
No, that's a turd.
All right. I ask everybody this. Your tattoos, right? Yeah. For me and my tattoos, it's kind of like a photo album, I guess, in a way, where I could sit down with my son later in life and I could tell him where I was at with each one of these tattoos and what was going on in my life and yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so that's what my tattoos are for me. Mm-hmm. For you, what do they have? Do they have anything that means?
They definitely have symbolic meaning, in the sense that I try to get things that I adapted myself to. I don't try to get things that are new.
Right.
Okay. I try to avoid that. I mean, I have a lot of Marvel stuff on me because I was a big fan. Punisher, of course. I mean, that's one of two. I had the X-Men on my legs, but unfortunately the skin got up to my knees. Yeah, I still got my X-Men on my thighs and everything. I got my Scorpion here for my Zodiac. I got a lot of tribal, and I got Odin up here.
Yeah, you got some old school tattoos.
Yeah, and just doing the old, the sleeve of tribal. I ended up, unfortunately, we ended up moving, didn't get it finished, but symbolically, I think it's more just what I'm into.
Yeah.
I got a matching tattoo with my wife, song lyrics to something that she's passionate about. I got, some of the stuff, like I got my oldest son, I got his name on me. Yeah. Got my oldest daughter on my back. Just, a little bit hitting there, but mostly it's just kind of whatever I'm in the mood for that day, like stuff that I follow. I mean, I'm a huge comic book fan. I've always been into comics ever since I was, a little thing. It kept me out of I guess you could say it kept me out of bullshit.
Right.
Kept me, away from running with the wrong crowd in the streets because they say, hey, there's a geek, he's a nerd, And unfortunately, that paid out for me, man, because I didn't have to worry about getting involved in all that dirt and grime that was going on in the streets when I was growing up. But it was just more of a
Going against the grain is usually the way to go.
Oh yeah. But I did this by accident, man. I didn't mean for it to happen because, we
usually do. We're usually the odd man out.
Right. Yeah, and then some way, somehow, somebody, I don't know if it was there. Somebody said, no, you're going to be more into this than you are into your surrounding stuff. And just being outside of Philadelphia, man, the neighborhood wasn't as rough as what Center City was. Or anything like that. When you tell people you're from Philly, like, oh man, you must be a bro. No, I had my share of fights, man. I mean, you don't grow up in my era without being a hard ass because either you fought or you ran. Okay, and I wasn't running.
Right.
I took my L's, got my wins, but I'm not like that. To me, it's just I wanted to be the base person that I am, and then I believe that a lot of people who come up to me, and I have a lot of church people that come up to me, and they're like, your body is a temple, your body is a church. And I look at them and I said, show me one that doesn't have stained glass in it.
Right, yeah, they all have paintings.
And I'm like, as far as I'm concerned, man, this is my art. This is me.
Look at the ceiling in the 16th chapel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's nothing but art. And I express my art and I'm not afraid to show. What happens when you're old and wrinkled? Then I'm going to be old with wrinkly tattoos. Yeah. What do you want me to say? This isn't going to change who I am. I'm always going to be a part of everything that I have on me. And they don't seem to understand it. They try to pass judgment on somebody who has tattoos. Once you get a tattoo, you're automatically white trash. And I hate that. There's a guy who literally landed a camera on a meteor, was sleeved on both arms, and nobody looked down on him before they said, wait, this guy knows what he's doing. Right. Nobody said, hey, we can't hire him. He's got tattoos.
Thank God. I think that in 2025, we are finally starting to get past that.
But you still have your biblical.
You still have your biblical things. And it's so misconstrued, too. Like, people, I think, because it randomly spits in there, like, don't get the mark of Cain, and then everyone's all like, oh, the mark of Cain's any sort of tattoo, and it's not. The mark of Cain is the mark of Cain.
Right.
It's, don't get that tattooed. That's the one thing you shouldn't get tattooed. I mean, there are plenty of other things you shouldn't get tattooed, but according to the biblical version, that's the one thing.
You have one that's the most misconstrued of all tattoos.
The cross?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Because people don't know whether or not you're embracing it or you're mocking it.
Yep. Yeah. So it's just like
But the thing is, to get to know you is to understand why you have what you have.
Yeah.
And it's nobody else's business but yours.
Right.
But if I had to question it and, it just came up, I would be like, what made you get that? Like what?
And it happens all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
But it should. People should actually talk to you about why you have that before they go ahead and judge you.
Yeah.
Because the last time I checked, God wasn't hiring. So ain't nobody got the right to judge me on anything that I have. They see that. When the COVID was happening, I still worked at the VA and I was an officer at the VA. And we had to question people every day. We had to screen them before they came into the VA. And I had a mask, and my mask was a Punisher. And I had a woman pull up, and she looked at me and she said, "That's demonic." And I said, "Ma'am, in what way does that represent demonic?"
Have you not seen any Marvel movies?
And the thing is you won't have them affiliated with that because they're afraid of what they don't understand. And that's what's wrong with the world today. Because if I had anything to say to any of the people that are growing up under the age of 18 or above 18 to 25, there's one thing that comes to mind, and take this with all the heart in the world: accountability.
That's one of my questions, actually.
You need to have the utmost accountability for your own actions.
That's very true.
And if people learn to concern themselves with what they are doing and not so much what other people are doing unless it affects them, this world would be a better place.
So much better place.
Accountability is the number one thing. You need to account for your actions, the way you speak to people, the way you treat people, because you want to be treated a certain way, but yet you want to treat people differently. How do you expect to get that in return?
Right.
That's not accountability.
Right.
Accountability is not held to a high standard anymore. You have keyboard warriors who are on their computers and they're and they're just trying to cause rifts and drama in everybody's life. And it's the same thing that I tell my wife: if you can't control it,
There's no point.
There's no point in going off about it, because my grandfather told me that nobody else can control your emotions but you.
Right.
You are the person. You have to be able to control them. If somebody is in your life and they are negative, you have to cut that out, okay? Because you got mad at that person. That person didn't tell you to get mad at them. That person made you mad at them. You control your emotions, nobody else. So in this time, 20 years ago, with an incident that happened with my younger daughter, she was in Walmart and a homeless man decided he was going to spit a hawker on her, mixed with blood, and this is true. The 25-year-old me, 30-year-old me would have tracked him down behind the Walmart, and I would have whooped his ass until the cows came home. But I know that reaction isn't the same anymore, because laws have changed, ideas have changed, society has changed as a whole. The only thing they're going to see is an enraged father beating up a victim. He's a victim because he's homeless, because he doesn't want to work, because he doesn't want to do anything. So he's made the victim in society, not my daughter. They're going to say it was just spit. It doesn't matter. It's the whole principle of it anymore. Nobody is accountable for their actions.
No. And it's almost like they will avoid it at all costs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We'll shift the focus point. You know, it's like, don't look at me here and what I'm doing. Look at so and so and what they're doing over here. They're way worse.
Yeah.
What I'm doing over here is minuscule compared to what they're doing. But in all reality, they're still just as much of a terrible person.
I use the analogy of, if somebody lights a trash can on fire and you walk up and you say, "Why did you do that?" They say, "Well, look, Billy just started a brush fire over there. Go beat up on him or go yell at him." Why? Because yours is going to become a house fire.
Right.
Your house fire is going to become a brush fire.
Yeah.
It all has to start somewhere. And if you're not accountable for it and you don't, understand that you're accountable for it, you're going to continue to do the same thing over and over. My grandfather, the wise man that he was, also told me, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting.
Absolutely.
And if you're not happy with what you're getting, then you need to change it up and start doing something that makes you happy.
Which means you have to be accountable for your own life, do some deep searching, and figure out where the hell you went wrong. Not anybody else. It's not so-and-so did this to me, and so-and-so cheated, and
Because
so-and-so
that's a
did
fucking
this.
cupcake who does that.
That's a cupcake. You have to look inside yourself, and you have to say, I allowed this person into my life to do whatever they did, or I did this to this person, and now I'm getting karma more than likely. Like, you have to take the accountability for your life in order to see what's wrong, to make the changes.
And when do you tell somebody that they no longer live rent-free in your head? That's when you have to, once you tell somebody that you no longer live rent-free in my head, that is when you cut out the toxicity. Because you're always going back and you're always spinning the wheels about something that somebody did. It could have been a week ago, could have been a month ago. Now, I understand that there's certain circumstances on things that happen that people need to keep that in there. But if you allow every person to come in and manipulate your emotions, I mean, you're already been beat.
You're already beat.
Yeah, you might as well just throw the towel in and say, no.
I'm a firm believer that when you're in an argument with somebody, the first person to get mad is the one that lost.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you can stay calm, I don't even care if you're wrong in the argument. If you can stay calm and give solid points, you'll probably win that argument.
People hate that.
They hate
People hate when they come at you and they want to get a reaction out of you and they don't get that reaction. Automatically, man, they're like, and then they just blow up. And you're like, man, why are you so mad?
Yeah, because what'll end up happening is they make themselves look stupid.
Yeah.
They'll end up saying something dumb out of anger, or doing something dumb out of anger, or swinging, or or whatever. They'll make themselves look stupid 9 times out of 10. You don't even have to worry about it.
And you shouldn't have to worry about it, because if they're that much of an importance to you in life, they're not going to get to that point. You're going to be able to iron it out. Okay. See, back in the day, we got into an argument with somebody. We settled it one of two ways. We either talked about it or we threw hands. There was no back and forth. You go get your buddy, I go get my buddy. No. Yeah. It was squashed right there, man. Right. We threw hands and we went and had a beer afterwards, or we talked it out like men and we went and had a beer afterwards. Either way, we didn't walk away from friendships as easy as they do today. And I mean, there's a lot more sinister people out there being manipulated by media, government, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I said government, I said media. But there's so many people that will just indulge in somebody else's bullshit and bring it to you, and the thing that always killed me is somebody would come up to me and say, hey, I heard such and such, man. And they were saying such, and they were saying this about you, they were saying shit about you. And I look at them and I don't even go, what'd they say? I look at them and I go, well, first of all, what made them comfortable to say it around you to begin with?
Yeah.
Answer that. Because they're comfortable enough around you to say something and shit on me. That means that you must have shit on me at some point.
You two must have been in coherence.
Yeah, and you're probably sitting there agreeing with them, or you're probably adding to it. So instead of just picking up the phone immediately, because we all know we can do that now, and going, hey, man, Joey's over here running his mouth, then I would understand. Then I could say, okay, man, we're good. But you waited 2 days to come and tell me that Joey was talking shit on us. Right. So why did he feel comfortable saying it in front of you?
Right. And I want to explain a little bit of a difference. There's old school dad, right? Yeah, old school dad, where you could brawl in the back of Walmart. Yeah. Where nowadays, new school dad, if you get into an altercation like that, the only way to truly win is, again, stay calm, but then level the fuck up. That's all you can do. And you will win. You will win. If they're running their mouth about this or that, all you can do is focus onto yourself and level the fuck up. Be the best version you can, to the point to where they can't talk anymore. Because the days of teaching people lessons is gone. There's too many cameras. Someone will record you so fast, and then you'll end up in jail. Like, that day is gone. What you need to do is turn your camera on and start working. Create content. I talked about this, I think it was episode 2, where you have to quit being a consumer. Quit being a consumer. You need to switch from consumer to producer. And all you want to do is produce. It doesn't matter if it's the greatest quality of content or whatever it is, but you want to produce. Because every time you put something out there, it reaches that many more people, and that many more people, and then that more.
And the people who follow and feed off of that are the people that you want around you anyway.
Absolutely.
Because they're the people who can see that and go, yes, that's the way it should be.
Right.
And then that's when you can start to grow your circle. And you don't grow your circle and put bad seeds in it. Right. Otherwise, you're not going to go and plant a garden and put poison ivy in it.
Right.
You're not going to do that. It's just stupid. But if you keep it and you keep that circle to the way you want it to be, so I'm not going to say that there's not some sour grapes that are going to get in there, but you don't see that until down the line, and it's okay. I mean, nobody's perfect. We're not in a perfect world, but you got to stop being an enabler. You got to stop it letting people treat you the way they want to treat you, and not the way that you want to be treated. Because as long as you continue to let that go, you're not going to understand the true value of friendship, relationships, or anything like that. You got to stop, and that's probably why. I would say probably in the past 20 years, I had friends come and go, quote unquote, friends, acquaintances, whatever you want to call them, come and go, is because I refuse to be the guy who's just going to say, you can treat me however you want to treat me, and it's okay.
Right.
When I'm not going to do that. And the reason I'm passionate about it, and the reason that I react the way I do, is because I'm so passionate, I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And my whole philosophy in life is, you got to keep something around you that's not going to keep making you second guess what you do, how you're doing it, where you're going, what direction you're going. Because when somebody comes up to you and says, hey, man, you really need to change this, man. And you're in the back of your mind going, why do I need to change this? You yourself know that you don't want to, but there's always that second guess.
I call those people dream killers.
Bingo.
Yep, dream killers.
It's that extra closed weave in the dream catcher, man. And they don't have an idea on what they're doing. They don't want to see you succeed because they're jealous of your momentum.
Yeah.
But at the same token, they're sitting in their chairs at home, and they're on their computers or on their video games, they're on this, and they're all doing this. And they're not focused on themselves. They're too busy watching everybody else ante up while they're sitting back wondering what happened to them. And then they start making excuses. Oh, well, I could have. I could have, man. I could have been. I could have had a successful business, man. But or because of this, no, man, no.
Or they'll end up on social media chatting their little hearts out, like, so and so is such a dick, you know. And that's another thing is when you start to have those boundaries with people, right? And you're like, no, we're not doing this anymore. You're gonna feel you come off as an asshole.
Absolutely.
and me personally, I feel really
hey,
guilty.
hold right here. I don't care.
I feel so guilty about it sometimes. Like sometimes I genuinely like, man, I just was an ass today, and I didn't want to be an ass today. Like I genuinely don't want to be an asshole to people. But the other side of that is I'm a filter. I'm a filter for these girls in here, and sometimes I have to be an asshole.
Sure.
Actually, 9 times out of 10, I have to be an asshole, because if I'm not the asshole, then the client is going to go be an asshole to one of my girls, and then I'm going to inevitably have to be more of an asshole.
But the situation you're in, you also have to know what degree.
That's true.
To take it.
That's true.
Okay. You as the front man, you as, I mean, I don't call it leader, because you're really not leading them. You're not drawing for them. You're not tattooing for them. So you're basically just the front man here. Okay.
I'm their mentor. That's what I'm the mentor. Yeah.
The what?
Teach them the way. I'm like the Mandalorian.
Did she just say, what are you doing, step bro?
No.
Is she caught in the dryer?
No. Oh, no. Oh,
is that not allowed? My bad if it's not.
I don't think so.
But no, you're right. She's right, too. It is a mentor thing, but you're going to learn from them as much as they're going to learn from you.
I do.
Okay.
I very much do. Hannah teaches me stuff all the time. Hannah is kind of gone in her own direction of tattooing and picked up this like fine line kind of whip shade, like real dainty kind of tattoos. And it's like the total opposite of what I'm good at. It's completely opposite. Like I'm really good at my bold lines and American traditional heavy color, you know, whereas she's over here.
Sail already, fill it up, baby.
Yeah. Where she's over, and that's when I'm teaching them. Like I'm teaching them like traditional style, because I feel like you need to learn the basics before you can venture off and do your own thing, like Hannah has. But Hannah is teaching me so much right now when it comes to like crazy whip shades and her real fine line tattoos and stuff like that. And I think the internet does kind of hate on those style tattoos a little excessively, because they don't always heal the best. My answer to that is make sure you have an artist that is doing their touch-ups. You know, as long as you have someone doing their touch-ups, then you don't have to worry about that. They'll come out looking
for a tattoo artist is like looking for a doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you don't treat it that way, and you go in and you want something flash, and you go into an old school tattoo artist, you're bound to get a 90 to 100% on that tattoo.
Yes.
But if you're looking for a watercolor tattoo and you walk into a flash guy, you're not getting what you're asking for. Sometimes you got to take a look at their, portfolio and say, oh man, I like the way you did this. I like it. Hey, by the way, do you do any of this? And
just ask. There are so many artists. I mean, I guess there are artists out there that would be like, yeah, I can do that, and it looks like crap, But if you go to a real professional shop, 9 times out of 10, if you just ask, I will tell you, hey, Hannah's better at fine line than I ever will be, and you should go see her. Yeah, I will tell you that Tay is way better at color tattoos than I am. You should go see her. So, like, it's just, and that again comes back to the family aspect.
Yep.
When you walk into a shop, if they're all in their own separate rooms and they're not talking to each other, and it's just like, meh, in there, you need to leave.
You're going to have a bad Christmas party.
Yeah, you're going to have a bad Christmas party. But if you walk into a shop and there's laughter going on and everybody's hanging out and having a good time, there's movies playing and music going on, you're probably in the right spot.
Just the whole aspect of the talking and the joking, and the kidding around and the making it feel as if you're not somewhere you're not supposed to be. Everybody clowning with everybody. I like that. Nobody takes it too far. Nobody holds back at the same time. So you get the best of both worlds combined in a tattoo shop, because a lot of people think you walk into a tattoo shop, it's dirty. You have, you're going to run into scumbags who are in there. Everybody for the longest time had the wrong idea on what a tattoo shop was. And now that it's coming to light and tattoos aren't the main, presence of, hey, look at those tattoos. I bet you he's the one who robbed the bank, not the guy with the shirt and tie on, Now that we've, gotten, just put that behind us and gotten across that threshold, I think right now they're starting to blossom because a lot of people are taking ideas in art and putting it together and then putting it on themselves. I mean, there's no reason not to. I mean, unless you're against tattoos, and it's so be it to the people who are.
You freak me out if you're not into tattoos, but I'm just saying that
it's a little bizarre. It is a little bizarre.
In 2025, if you don't have tattoos, you're freaking me out. Go away.
And it's very few and far between. So there's somebody not.
I feel like the people now that are robbing banks are the people that don't have tattoos.
That would be a good idea. You know what? Don't say any more until we get our attorney here.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, damn it.
But I mean, the shop itself, man. And when I walked in, I was expecting something different. I'm not going to lie. The reason why is because maybe I was a little bit more judgmental before I came in. Yeah. Kokomo, and her having a hard time getting a hold of you, and I just thought to myself, well, maybe this is the wrong thing. But I couldn't be more proud of my daughter and her work and where she picked to stay, because she didn't have to stay here. She could have walked in and said no, but some vibe gave her the way to say.
So we keep talking about it, so I want to talk about it. Sammy came in and
I'm gonna step up
interviewed, and then
hello.
I don't know what ended up happening. I interviewed a bunch of people, and I think me and Hannah just ended up picking a whole different group. And then that one of them ended up not working out, so then I had to call Sammy and was like, hey, we need you to come in and re-interview and do all that process again.
Like I told you, that's
but then
what I thought we were
got
do.
here.
You were going to weed everything down. I was going to have you come out and get everything up and off. And then you were going to come back and look. That's what we were talking about when we were by the fence that day.
Because we have to re-register everybody in December according to the health department. No matter what, it has to be done in December. So then we had to re-register everybody. And so she ended up having to sit around for about 3 months, actually, where
it ain't going to take them but half a day.
Practice skins.
Yeah. I think, and that, like I said, that's why you said you were going to be finished everything. I'm like,
we're waiting on him to get back.
Yeah. So, I mean,
real quick, while he's doing that, I want to mention again.
Yeah, I'll be good.
Mad Rabbit. I am an affiliate for Mad Rabbit. I have a promo code for Relentless.
I
have a promo code for 20% off. That is Relentless 20 in all caps. Again, this is all products from madrabbit.com. Just put that promo code in at your checkout and it'll get you 20% off. I got numbing cream. This numbing cream we used the other day, it's freaking awesome. They got the enhanced sticks, again, freaking awesome. And they've got soothing gels and tattoo artist glides and all kinds of good stuff. So make sure you go check them out. Order you guys some products. Again, use the promo code RELENTLESS20. That's going to get you 20% off, which is actually even cheaper than I can sell you the stuff in the store. So, like in the store, in this stop, I have to upcharge it because I have to pay for shipping, and then I need to make a profit, yada, yada, yada. Whereas the 20% off from this is my profit. So if you order this offline using the promo code, it is going to be cheaper for you guys. Not to mention, if you use numbing cream, you have to put it on 2 hours before your appointment anyway, so it doesn't
and wrap it.
So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to come buy it out of my store. Order it online. Use the promo code Relentless20 in all caps. That'll save you 20%.
Because this doesn't work just rubbing it on and then going getting tattooed and go, why is this not numb?
It doesn't work like that. No, you have to wrap it up. Otherwise, it'll evaporate. It ends up your heat from your body will end up evaporating all the chemicals that are in there that you need to stay on there. So you have to wrap it up. Oh man, that got me.
COVID.
All right, back to the tattoos. Do you have future plans for your tattoos? Do you have them planned out?
No. I'm pretty much.
Is it just kind of whatever Sammy throws on you?
She put the turtles up here on me, and I don't want to show it because I'm kind of.
You're peeling.
Yeah, I'm peeling. So
But
I got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles here.
It's looking good though.
And then I talked to her and I said that I wanted to get the Thundercat symbol here, Transformers here. We're going to go with, what was it? It was Cobra Commander.
This was a cover up too, wasn't it? The other one.
What one? Yes, that was,
yeah. I hadn't seen that since you got it done. That was looking pretty good too.
Yeah, it lightened up and everything. But no, I see something, or I come up with an idea, and I'll just be sitting there at home watching a movie or, playing video games or something. Man, I'm a big time gamer, and I don't want that, and then it'll just pop in my head. It's weird, and I'll be like, all right, then I'll bother Sammy for an hour and a half, going, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? Why we do this? And she'll go, bet, because that's the only thing she can answer is bet. So,
she gets that from me.
Oh, okay. Hey, Sam, what do you think of this? Bet.
Yeah.
Think I should get it? Bet. What color should I do? Bet. That's not a color, Sam. Right. Red. Bet.
Oh, I do that too. I do that so much.
Yeah, there's the two things I hate is bet and heard. If I'm talking to you and I say something like I give you an opinion, heard. I
don't like when they say period. Like when they're like trying to emphasize like don't do that. Period. I can't stand that.
No, that or the K or double K on a text message. That's the politest way of saying pluck you in the nose, man. You can't do that. You can't do that.
You got to type out the whole okay. Yeah.
But we got some stuff planned. She has some ideas that she's brought to my attention that she wanted to do. Yeah. And and I throw her an idea, but I do have plans on getting tattooed by Austin. I'm holding out for the chicken jockey.
Chicken jockey.
So I know it's a popular piece and everybody's, but I'm gonna put a twist on mine. Okay, it's not going to be original.
That'd be pretty cool.
And the reason why is because my kids, they came home from seeing the Minecraft movie, and every freaking thing is chicken jockey.
Chicken jockey's awesome.
So I had to look it up myself, and I figured out what it was, and I giggled about it. It was cool. It was cool.
Have you seen the movie?
I have not.
You got it.
I part of me wants to see it, but a part of me wants to let my kids enjoy it because I'll pick it apart.
Yeah.
Okay. And I heard that a lot of it has to do with, Jack Black grabbing or slapping Jason Momoa's ass continuously through the movie, and that's.
I don't remember that.
Sammy, you lied.
No. Remember when they were like flying on the thing and they were holding on with the jetpacks, and then Jason Momoa had to like turn and make a man sandwich.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, Jack Black like smacks Jason Momoa's butt.
Yeah, but it's not the whole movie.
No,
it's one spot of the movie.
I was over exaggerating.
And like it's Jason Momoa, who doesn't want to see his ass get smacked. Come on now. I'm not even gay, but come on.
I'm not gay either, but my boyfriend is.
The secret one.
It's not gay if you're wearing knee-high socks.
All right, man. That's about all I have. Do you have any questions?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some. Okay, let's go back to the 16-year-old Austin. Okay. Where did you envision yourself being at the age you are right now, at 16?
Not as a tattoo artist.
Okay.
I never saw this coming at all.
Okay.
At 16, to be completely honest with you, 16 was like a really, really dark time in my life. I had just moved in with my grandparents for normal reasons that someone would move in with their grandparents. And I was really very much like, fuck the world.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really what was going on.
Hey, Tiff, are you seeing a similarity here? Yeah.
I kind of was getting into mechanics a little bit because I just turned 16 and I was buying my own shitty trucks and I had to work on them myself, So I was kind of getting into mechanics a little bit, but 16 is also when I did my first tattoo. So a lot of people do know this, but a lot of people don't know this, that I did my first tattoo on my cousin. He had went into jail. And he come back with some shit tattoos on him, but he had a little eBay coil tattoo machine and some inks, and he's like, "Hey, bub, do you want to do something with this?" And I'd been drawing and artistic my whole life. Artistic, not autistic, but maybe a little bit both. I feel like if you're artistic, you have to be a little bit autistic. Anyways, So he gave me the machine, and he's like, "We, fix this up," and I did, and it looks great to this day. Actually, Now, granted, I didn't have to stencil anything. I didn't have to
Freehand.
No, it was rework.
Oh, so you were touching up.
I was fixing it,
Oh,
Yeah,
you're doing a jailhouse workover. Okay.
Yeah, I was doing a jailhouse workover in my kitchen. yeah. So it wasn't, anything crazy, and it still looks good to this day. But it sparked it, And then I went and I got my own machines, and then I did start practicing how to stencil. And then it was so much trial and error from there, because I very quickly realized that I didn't want to stay in the coil machines. And then that was kind of the very beginning of the rotary machines. And then I was buying rotary machines off eBay, and they didn't have enough power, and burning them up. And this is a very good reason as to why you go get an apprenticeship instead of trying to do this stuff on your own. Is because you will spend a lot of money, you'll mess a lot of people up, and it's just a ton of trial and error. You'll save yourself a ton of time if you go get an apprenticeship, or at least a mentor that knows what they're doing, or at least watch some courses or something. It'll help you. It'll save you a ton of money. Also, start with good equipment, because I really royally messed that up. I was starting with like eBay junk, and that slowed me down way more than anything else. Just not having the equipment that I needed. And as soon as I got the equipment that I needed, things took off for me. And every time I bring someone else in here, they're always running shit equipment. And then as soon as I give them good equipment, their art takes off. It just completely shoots across the moon. Yep, and everything, and that will take your stuff through the roof.
So you got no equipment?
Oh,
but
yeah.
your work hasn't changed.
Yes, it has. Melina's, all three of them, actually.
Oh, you could tell.
Tay, Melina, Sammy, all three of them are work, and even Hannah. She's already progressed to the point to where it's a little bit slower now, but all three of these girls here have, just in the last couple months, progressed so fast and have learned so much and really taken the time to
stop. She's going to cry.
To protect.
She's turning red.
To perfect their crafts.
Oh no, it's just the highlights of her hair.
It's just the highlights of her hair. And to really take this seriously. Like I said earlier, I think I got a really, really good crew. I'm very proud of all of them. I really am. They've all come a very, very long way. I'm very proud of where this shop has come. I wouldn't be able to do it without them at all. There's no way I'd be able to do any of this without them. I'd be struggling so much. So huge shout out to my crew. They really are great. I say this in just about every single podcast. We may not be the most talented, even in Kokomo, but what we make up for in talent, or what we lack in talent, we make up for in just sheer morality and an all-around vibe and taking care of our people.
Ingenuity too. I think a lot of it has to do when somebody walks through the door. People aren't afraid to say, "Hey, I want to get this done," and then they're not afraid to say, "Well, do you think maybe this might work for you too?"
Right.
And it's all about it because it's permanently going on your body. But if you don't give the tattoo artist some room to express too, and put those ideas in your ears to say, "Hey, maybe that might be right," And I mean, bottom line is it's going on your body.
Right.
But
sometimes we can't. Sometimes people bring us pictures and they're like, "I want this." And it's literally a tattoo on somebody else's skin. And we're like, "No, I can't. I'm going to change that and make it my own."
Right. So for them to be able to put their 2 cents in it, for a customer to be able to embrace that and say, "Yes, let's give it a try," because they know their strong points. We don't.
Right.
As a customer, we don't.
Right.
As you're walking in and you see somebody tattooing a certain way, you're like, "Okay, that's good. He can do that." But then if he says, "Hey, man, I was thinking about maybe changing this part of it up. What do you think?" It's still going to be your design. It's still going to be what you want. But maybe if we add this to it, And to me, that's a tattoo artist's way of saying, "I can make this look sharp.
Yeah.
I can do this to the point where it's going to pop. It's going to be your thing, but it's going to be my work at the same time." And that's why we come to you guys. We come to you guys for different things.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk in there with a picture that somebody else already has on them I want to be able to hand my tattoo artist a picture and say, do something with this.
Right.
Okay, well, what do you want me to do? I want you to do what you do best.
Right.
I want you, if you have to manipulate it to a certain point, then let me know.
Right.
But you're not going to go just throw it on me without saying, hey, man, this is what I wanted to do. What do you think? And then, and I can see your perspective of it, And Sammy does that too. Sammy wanted to do something, but I wanted to do something, and Sammy changed my Sammy changed my mind about it. I wanted to do the Infinity Gauntlet on my hand, okay? And she kind of switched me up from that. And then I wanted to put Gambit with his hands, with his throwing cards. And she said, you really want a hand on a hand?
Yeah.
I'm like, you're like, damn it, man. Yeah, well, now I don't,
Yeah.
But she made sense, and I'm glad she said something. Otherwise, I would have had a hand on it,
Right.
Yeah.
And there are things where we kind of run into that here. And people don't think about it, but as a tattoo artist, you do a lot. The one I run into all the time is the spider web on the elbow. People don't realize, people don't realize that has some like prison meanings and stuff.
Didn't know that at the time. Okay, so and this is a tribal spider web. This isn't your
it's
typical.
it's not your typical.
No.
But
I don't have the teardrop. And
so or even like the 13.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah, so like
the broken heart right here either.
It's wisdom that you need from a tattoo artist, and you need to be willing to accept the guidance that your tattoo artist does have. A lot of times, another really, really perfect example of that is script. If your script gets too small, it'll blend together within the year, and you'll never be able to read it. And then it's almost impossible to fix. You're gonna have to cover it. Thank God it was a little tattoo,
Yep.
So you have to trust your artist. I know we need to be wrapping this up. I know we're getting kind of long-winded.
I'm only a quarter way done my question. My other question is, 25-year-old Austin.
Well, that wasn't that long ago.
Okay. Well, now you went from one stage to another stage. Where do you envision yourself in 10 more years? We went from 16 to 25. Let's go 25-ish to 35-ish.
Okay, so at 25, I had just started with this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was 24 when I started Relentless Tattoos. So if I could go back to 25 and give myself like some advice right at the beginning of that, it would definitely be don't get too invested in the people that are coming and going, if that makes sense, or allow more people to come and go without trying to hold on to everybody. Because when I first got into this, I had such a misconstrued concept of what a client was versus a friend. Yeah, so then everybody that was coming through the door was a friend in my books. Like, we had just spent 4 or 5 hours together talking, and I got to know this person. We're friends now, all right? But they didn't have that. They left, and they didn't give a fuck.
Right.
Yeah, and that beat me up for a while. That really, really did beat me up for a while.
Sure.
And I think it took me a couple years to really kind of separate.
There's a difference between bonding and rapport.
Yeah.
You want to get rapport with your customers.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes.
Because you want to know what they like. Because you could be sitting down at your desk and some flash could come across and you'd be like, hey, you know what? Joe would love this.
Right.
And I know they do that with Josh.
Yeah.
They see things and Josh would love that.
Yeah.
Sam's been at my house and she go, oh, Josh would love that.
Yeah.
Who's Josh? Before I met you, Josh. Before I met you.
Now, there are some clients that have crossed that boundary, though. There
Mm-hmm.
are some clients that have shown up in a time of need, or we just hang out or something like that. Like, so I don't want to like completely separate it, but that was just something that really, really threw me through a lot of loops.
Pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
Because you're going to know sooner or later whether or not that's something you want to be in your circle. But remember, when you let people in your circle, they expect different things from you.
Yeah.
And that's when you either have to embrace that or you have to push them out.
Yeah.
Somebody with a good vibe comes in, you sit down with them, you've tattooed them 3 or 4 times, everything's going great. You have a lot in common with them.
Right.
So you end up taking that extra. When you go, you hang out, you have a couple beers together, you go out, you're throwing darts together, throwing axes together, you go out and having a good time.
Right.
The next time he comes in, he's like, where's my buddy discount?
Yeah. No crap.
Once again, you're going back to the whole people feel that they're not accountable enough for that. They feel that they deserve something. they're abusing your friendship by digging into your pocket.
Yep,
Okay, because anytime, I've had people do it to me many a times before. I used to own a business back in Pittsburgh where I sold autographed memorabilia. Okay, and there's many times where people came in and said, "Where's the friendly discount at?" Well, the friendly discount just went out the window because I still got to put food on my table. I still got bills I got to pay. I can't call the electric company and say, "Where's my friendly discount at?"
Right.
So unfortunately, until I make that, or until you buy a certain amount from me, and when you become that good of a customer to me, then I'll start giving bits and pieces here. And I'm not afraid to do that. But I mean, it should be on my terms. It shouldn't be on your terms as a customer just because we're acquaintances and we know each other. Like I said, you can't base that, because when you try to split that friendship with business, then sometimes the friendship goes right out the window.
Right.
Because they're going to badmouth you, and it only takes a couple of people badmouthing you about something petty like that to turn more and more people around. This is like the used car business. Word of mouth, man, and repeat and recommended customers are where your punch is. That's where you want. You want people to walk in your shop and then go home, and somebody go, "Hey, where'd you get that at?" I went down to Relentless and I got it. You know, I got 5 tattoo shops in my town, and I will drive past 3 of them to come here.
Yeah.
Not just because my daughter's here.
Yeah. I mean, that's true.
Even if my daughter said she was going someplace else tomorrow, I'm still going to come here.
Right.
Doesn't matter. I'm still going to go see her at times, but I'm still going to come here.
Right.
Because when you get a feel for something in a place like this, it's hard to walk away from. And your resentment towards people that came in here, people that worked for you, and just up and left. You felt the wrath of it because you felt you did something wrong.
And,
okay? And you didn't.
No.
My man, you got to understand that you are you first, man. Everybody else is second to none. You, your son, everything else, my man,
out the door.
Is shit.
Yep.
Okay, and it doesn't matter.
And it took me a minute. It took me a minute to figure that out, but
yeah,
I did. I eventually got there.
I can turn feelings on and off like a light switch.
Yeah.
And I regret the day that happened because a lot, like I told you before, I'm very compassionate about not having any filters and wearing my heart on my sleeve, because I believe that everybody should be good enough to do the right thing. And if I wouldn't do it to you, why are you doing it to me? But I stopped. I stopped feeling a certain way because I didn't ask you to come into my life and treat me this way. I didn't ask you to come into my place of employment, become an employee of mine, and then just up and walk. You want to up and walk, that's on you. This is still my diamond. Right. You don't want to shine from it? There's the fucking door. We'll talk to you later. But wish you the best of luck. Right. And I'm that type of person, okay? I don't hold a grudge. I don't want to see you starve, but you're not going to eat at my table.
I tell everybody this is my second kid, and my kids are my priority. You know, it's my son and my shop.
That's
my
it.
Son and my shop. And if you're not for the shop or my son, then
you got to treat it, man, as if it's your livelihood.
It is.
And the thing is that people can't understand the difference between what you're trying to accomplish and we're not worried about what they're trying to accomplish, which is minimal in this field. Then you need to just say,
right,
I'm sorry. And I have, in the past 10 years, I have cut off more people than I could even imagine I wanted to. But I got to that point. I didn't want to be around this anymore. I wanted to be one directional. I wanted to be, I'm going this way. I'm enjoying myself. And if I can't enjoy it because you're constantly in my ear telling me all the negative shit that's going on around me, I don't care.
Right, okay.
If it's not directly involved with my family, I don't want to hear it, man. My friends will come to me and they'll say, "Hey, man, what's going on with you?" I have people who check up on me once a week. I have people who check up on me 5 times a week. I have people who will check on me once a month. But let me explain to you, that person who checks on me once a month, if I call, they're at my doorstep.
Right.
Okay? The one who checks on me 5 times a week, I could call and he hits the fuck you button. Okay? I know the difference. I'm not stupid. But because of the fact that person's been in my life, they've been positive, they're not negative, they're just not there.
Another thing that I had to kind of realize was, as long as I hold my own integrity, it kind of doesn't matter.
Nobody else.
It doesn't matter.
Just like the Metallica song, "Nothing Else Matters."
Yeah, it don't matter. Like, as long as I know that deep down that I'm being a good person, and I did what I morally believe is correct, then they can walk out the door. And
a leopard never changes his spots, and you can't lead a horse to a trough to drink, man.
And 9 times out of 10, when they walk out the door and leave me high and dry like that, then The world will know. You know. Please watch out for the iPad.
I know.
Okay. Anyways, so to emphasize on the second part of your question, which would be like, where would I be in like 10 years from now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to tell you that. I don't want to talk about that on camera. Yeah, I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah, because there are too many people trying to copy me right now. There are a lot of people trying to copy me right now, and I don't want my future plans getting out. I will tell you that I have plans. That I have long-term goals. I have plans on expanding. I have plans on something very, very, very big, actually. That could be awesome for a lot of people and for tattoo artists as a whole. Not just my shop, but for a lot of different artists would be awesome. But I don't want to talk about it too much because someone will take it.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just felt that was my question because I just wanted to see your vision.
Yeah. And
We'll talk off camera.
Yeah, it's really hard to, because I know someone would like, oh yeah, it's such a great idea.
And you know who you are.
Yeah, it's already happening. It's already begun. Like I've been on this, I've been calling it the revolution. Okay, I've been on this revolution train, and it's already kind of like spread a little bit.
Okay.
Because I've been on the social media train. Yeah, it didn't take very long for the rest of them to be like, oh shit, Austin's on social media. We need to start getting on social media. Yeah, it didn't take them very long. Again, the Mad Rabbit stuff. Yeah, I started promoting the shit out of Mad Rabbit. It didn't take them very long for someone to be like, oh shit, I have Mad Rabbit too. I need to start promoting Mad Rabbit. Like it doesn't take very long.
No, it's not. Yeah. And nah.
So I don't want to talk about what I'm doing fucking tomorrow.
But take that though, because the haters, and this is one of the I read this in Fortune magazine, Howard Stern.
Yeah.
When Howard Stern started out in New York, he had a small following. And I first heard him, I can't even tell you what year it was, but it was way back in the day in Philly. He was on 94 WYSP in the morning. And I heard Howard Stern for the first time. And that's the guy who took it to the brink, just where the FCC couldn't cut him. And then I read some 40 years later, I read that he was disliked by 80% of his followers, whether it be on radio or when he moved to Sirius Radio, I believe it was. He was more of a type person. I didn't care for him because he took a topic and he pounded it in the ground. But they said that the 80% of the people who couldn't stand Howard Stern but listened to him every day only listened to see what he was going to say or do next. That's crazy.
Yep.
You hate a man enough that you don't care for him, but you're going to listen in anyway just to see what he's going to say or do.
Oh, the haters will be your biggest problem.
But they bring you in the most money.
They do. They bring you in the most money. I tell them all the time, you could do a tattoo on a guy and he absolutely loves it. He'll walk out the door and he might tell one or two people, and maybe one of those people will come back. You could completely piss somebody off on social media and they're going to talk about you and spit your name to so many people.
And then those people are going to go and look to see whether or not this is true.
And then they're going to find my TikTok videos, they're going to find my art, they're going to find these podcasts, and they're going to start listening. And then before too long, they're going to be like, oh, Austin's not that bad of a guy. Realize Tattoos isn't that bad of a shop. Everyone seems to love it when they go in there, So, yeah, this is kind of no one pushes you like a hater for sure.
Oh, good.
No one.
And they should push it.
Yeah,
they should make you want to do the things you didn't want to do before.
All right. Well, like I said, we really do got to get wrapping this up. Do you have any more questions?
No, I'm good, man. I appreciate you letting me be on.
Well, thank you for coming, man. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming.
Anytime. Yeah. I know I couldn't do the job that Josh did, but I tried, man. I tried.
We're just setting the bar higher.
Yeah, Josh came in and killed it, and then here I am just...
I'm not sure what we're going to end up doing next week. I'm sure I'll figure it out, though. Again, thank you guys for watching.
Hey, next week you can have me and Josh on.
Hey, that'd be cool. No, I'm just kidding. I actually think
That's not cool.
I think I'm going to try to maybe convince Hannah, just because Hannah was my first. She's my right hand, so I think it'd be pretty cool to have Hannah on a podcast. Again, thank you guys for watching. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Go check out madrabbit.com. 20% off all products. That is capital.
And if you didn't make it that far,
yeah, if you didn't make it that far, well, then
you're a cupcake.
Yeah, you're a cupcake. Promo code all capital Realist20. That'll get you 20% off at madrabbit.com. Go check that out. Numbing cream, balms, all that kind of stuff. Thank you for watching this. Please like and subscribe. Do all the stuff. I really do appreciate you guys. Bye, guys.